Hi, Amber, and this is dedicated to a young girl that I really like, and she's 20, and I've been taking her out on romantic sort of dates, romantic for me and friends for her. And I had some questions today that a friend supplied with me to ask her questions. And this is messy all over here, isn't it? A whole lot of stuff over here. So one of the questions was um, uh, I'll have a look. Um, uh, I'm not sure where it is. I can't find it. Sorry. One of the questions was biggest obstacle. My biggest obstacle that I've had to overcome in my life. And that was the question. And my friend Amber, who some of you know, but most of you who surfed in on this subject from YouTube won't know her. And she listed biggest obstacle to overcome in her life was depression. She listed mental health, but she's got depression. So I thought I'd make this video for her, specifically because I really care about her, and I've been dealing with depression for 25 years. But I also want to make it for you. And hi, I'm Matthew Robert Payne. So I've suffered bipolar schizoaffective disorder for 25 years, both depressions of bipolar, mania of bipolar, and schizoaffective sort of schizophrenic sort of things, hearing voices, seeing scary visions, seeing all sorts of crazy stuff. So we're going to focus in on the title of this, Overcoming Depression, My Biggest Obstacle. And this is dedicated for Amber. I'm doing this specifically for Amber, my friend. But it's for all of you too. And I hope that if you suffer depression, that you could gain or glean some benefit from this. One of the first keys to understanding mental health problems is getting the knowledge to actually understand it. I did a video on mental health, and Amber hasn't watched that yet, but it's 40 odd minutes, so don't blame her. And I listed some of the qualities, some of the sad things about depression. Can make you unhygienic. I've never seen her do that, but can make you tired, can make you lethargic, can make you not be motivated. I have never seen that in Amber, but I only see her once in a while. I don't know her in her whole personal life. So one of the keys is to understand it, to get a grip on it. And sometimes that can take years for you to get a grip on what you're suffering. My knowledge on bipolar has taken me 25 years to glean this information. The more you know your enemy, the more you can battle it. You know, anyone who faced a bull would probably get in trouble, but the guys over in Spain, they stab sticks into the bulls and wave flags and stab things, and they're not afraid at all at a bull coming at them. So use that whenever you don't understand something and how it moves and how it operates. It can be difficult for you. It can be really scary. Am I saying that my depression or my mania isn't scary for me? No, I'm not saying that. But I am saying I can cope with it better because I understand what's happening. So one of the keys to um, coping with it, Amber, is getting a hold on it, understanding it. There's, there was a couple of good movies on schizophrenia. Russell Crowe did a good movie on schizophrenia. And there was a movie called Angel Baby years ago that showed me some of schizophrenia, which was part of me. There's a good movie about a musician, Australian movie, that he had bipolar, and there's been a couple of good movies on bipolar too. So I'm not sure. We used to have video stores, and you could go and ask someone in the video store what's a good movie on depression. But you may know a good movie on depression. It'd help to watch that movie and find out, even documentaries on depression. The more you can understand the beast, the less it is to fear. And so that's my first recommendation. As someone who really cares about you, who really loves you, the more you can understand it, the more control you have. Unfortunately, I deal with my depression with no medication. I know that you're on antidepressants, so they probably really help. They sort of block things and pathways in the brain, and it really helps. So understanding, you need to understand its bad points. And if you're on an antidepressant, it probably relieves those bad points. I'm used to having the bad points and having no relief. So that can be tiredness, sleeping too much, not being motivated, not having showers, not caring about yourself. So understand its bad points. And you've probably got regular bad points that you know about. And you need to bring in strategies to how you can deal with those bad points. You need to learn how to cope and how to deal with those bad points that manifest within your illness. Another key thing, another key to coping with mental illness is just accept the bad. Just accept it. I accept that I can't keep a really clean house, and if I was married and the wife can't keep a clean house either, we'll just have to have enough income to pay cleaners to clean it. The same as if the wife is busy and I'm busy, I have a nanny that can cook and clean and be like a servant in the house. And that's just a matter of generating enough income to have that person do it. So there's a certain healing that can come when you accept the bad. So I can't get out of bed. Well, I'll just have to structure my work around my sleeping. I can't go to the effort of cleaning myself or hygiene. I have to get someone to ring me and tell me to have a shower each day. So I've noticed one key thing, probably spin a lot of people out, but probably even spin you out, Amber. One key thing to having all these visitors from heaven and visitors from other places in the earth is that they are directing me to have showers each day. And I'm always being directed by one of my heavenly visitors, go and have a shower now. And so that's really good. I've noticed in the last 3 weeks, I've been having showers every day, and that's really changed, and it's been a change. And so that's good. So a key to overcoming and coping with your mental health is accepting it. I can't stress that enough. Whatever you don't accept it, whatever you don't accept it as your lot in life, whatever you're pushing it away and you're not embracing the fact that you might always be depressed, whatever you don't accept it, it hurts you. But when you accept it, it can be liberating to you. And so I don't know how long you've had it, Amber. Not sure if it's just been a few years or just 6 months or whatever. But one key thing is to accept it. You might always struggle with it and it cause you troubles and issues like my illness does, but I accept it. You notice when I said a key obstacle, it wasn't my mental illness. I've learned to be able to turn it on and turn it off and cope. I've been coping for 25 years. So this is my second night up, and I shared that I can get mania and stuff, staying up for a long time. I can also stay up 2 nights and 3 nights and stuff and be okay. And so far I'm really okay, and I'm really centered and really got it happening, or I wouldn't be doing this video. So one major key is accept the illness and accept the bad things about it. They mightn't be good, there mightn't be good things, but accept it. And then my next point is use the bad to help others. So, you can always help people out of your experience. If you've suffered depression, you can understand anyone going through a season or a seasonal sort of depression, like their mother dies. Like me, my mother, for everyone who's watching, my mother died last Friday night. And for the non-Christians watching, and even for a lot of the Christians, my mother's been with me all night, with me, sort of next to me, watching everything I do, listening to all my music and talking to me all day. So like a medium in a New Age sense, but instead of channeling my mother, she's standing here with me. And so I don't know where I was going with use the bad to help others. Oh yeah, I can say that no matter what's happening, you can use it to help others. So it's bad that my mother died, but it sort of made me happy. But I've lost friends, and that's made me really sad. So if you're going through depression all the time, people who are having seasonal depression, like losing a mother or losing a friend or losing a job or losing a car or losing some sort of income or losing someone important to someone, all these seasonal things that spring up as life goes and people get sad for a month or a few months or 6 months, or they say a loss of someone to death takes about 2 years. All these people in the world who suffer sadness, who suffer a seasonal bout of depression, you can help all of those, Amber. You can come alongside them and help them feel good. And I want you to smile. I want you to smile as you listen to that. Think of how many people you can help through your life. I seen this years ago. I saw a vision of me doing this, speaking to you, talking about this. And they call that deja vu, when you see the future in a vision. And I seen me making this point to some girl in the future. And so you've got a weapon, in you that can do good for God, for the universe, for society. You can fight on the good side. Everyone who's taken down seasonally by depression, and people who suffer depression or starting to suffer depression, you'll have answers for in the future. And that's one way I cope with my mental illness, is I turn it around on itself, and I get benefits out of it. Now, here's some good points of depression. When I'm depressed, I can write good songs. When I'm depressed, I can write some good poetry. When I'm depressed, I can write some good prose, which is just writing. So today I gave you some poetry, and today I gave you some prose when I wrote about what I think of you. So if you can redirect it into writing, it can be very effective. You could write a book of poetry, depressing poetry, and you can, if you did that, if you learned to write poetry, sorry, itchy nose, if you learn to write poetry, and you don't have to even rhyme in poetry, I could write like the meaning behind, like the upswing. You could write the downer, and I could write the upper, but I have never seen you down. You're just beautiful. So antidepressants must be really working for you. Now, here's the other point I made, and I'm just repeating it here. You can be more understanding of depressed people. When someone says, "I know how you feel," well, I don't know. You're probably so young. I wonder if you've ever had someone say that. But when someone says that to you when they don't know how you feel, it's like a slap across the face. It's like a real, yes, thank you, yes, so good, yeah. I lost my mother, father, sister, brother, best friend, girl that I was basically engaged to, my pastor, my church, my income, my ability to write a book once a month. Yeah, I've lost, almost 10 things in the last 10 weeks. Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you understand. Yeah, that's really good. Well, cheer up, Matthew. Look on the bright side. There is no effing good side at the moment for me. So you know what I mean. Just being cynical there. But do you really understand losing all of that? Interesting enough, Amber, people watching, Jesus had a scripture that says, unless you hate your mother, father, sister, brother, wife, children, land, possessions, and your own life, you're not worthy of me. And about 10 weeks ago, my pastor asked me to bring the sermon, preach the sermon, and I got that scripture. I was led to that scripture, and I preached it. And I said, unless you're prepared to lose all these things, your mother, father, sisters, brothers, wife, child, land, possessions, and even your own life, you're not worthy of me. And so I went through those 9. And it's the same as what I lost. I lost my mother, father, sister, brother, friend, fiance, or girl that was working out to be that, church, family, possessions, my income, and and my purpose in life there for a while. So I preached it then it just happened. It's like Jesus was setting me up. He's saying, well, I preached it really hard. You need to be prepared to do this, man. You need to be prepared to do this, man. You need to be prepared to do this, man. And then it happened, and I'm prepared. And so the laugh's on me. So instead of being one of those people who say, I know how you feel, you may not know the seasonal reason. You may not have not suffered the loss of a mother, the loss of a fiance, the loss of a job, the loss of anything. You've lost a boyfriend before. You may not have suffered depression for their seasonal reason, but you have suffered depression before, and you know what depression's like. And everyone's in hospital, but like nurses really understand because they're so used to dealing with suffering people. So nurses are really good at putting people at ease. And if you've suffered, you're really good at putting other people at ease. So that's why they have in rehabs, they have the group therapy where everyone talks. When they have cancer patients and they all mingle together and they all talk. The patients help each other, the suffering help each other. So you will have over the years, if it doesn't disappear, you will have a better understanding of people who are depressed. You'll have more understanding of depressed people. Now, here's another one. I like my points. I like making points. You'll have a broader understanding of life. It's hard to imagine this. Imagine all the people. John keeps on jumping. I keep on using this word imagine all the time. This is hard to imagine, but because I'm bipolar, a schizophrenic, I have a broader understanding of life. I understand what sanity is, although it's been many years since I've been sane, in the proper definition of it. I'm only insane when I'm manic. In the bipolar high, I can be insane when I'm doing that. But if my ideas when I'm manic actually turn out to be right, then I'm a genius. So I understand genius. I understand a sane mind. I understand closed-mindedness. I understand sexual abuse. I understand, addictions to pornography and prostitutes. I understand suffering in addictions. I understand having no money. I understand being overweight. I understand being unfit. I understand how to surf. I understand how to write books and self-publish books. I'm going to run schools on teaching people how to write books in the future. But as someone who's depressed, you can not only deal with people who are sane and people who have got no problems, you can also deal with all the people who are depressed. So it gives you a broader understanding of life. And you might think it's more narrow. You only relate to depressed people, but no, you can relate to undepressed people, if that's a word. You can relate to people who aren't depressed, and you can relate to people who are depressed. Probably if you're anything like me, you don't want to be hanging around depressed people because you're depressed enough. So there you go. You can also, a good point is you can share your story. Well, having you share that a couple of nights ago with me, that you suffer depression, and then having you share it on that list, that's your biggest obstacle in your life is your mental health. That really touched me in a really, really deep way. It really resonated and connected with me. And that was the inspiration of this video, Amber, that I put this time in to record it and upload it. I know you're busy, but you'll get to watch this at some time, and I hope it really helps you. So sharing your story in the future is going to help a lot of people. Learning to write poetry will really help a lot of people. If you learn to write songs, that'll help people. If you can write, prose, like just normal writing about it, that can really help people. Um, and my last point is, and this one may be difficult for you. I've been a Christian for most of my life, so it's easier for me, but it'd be good if you come to understand God has a good reason for it in your life. Whether that's to write songs, to write music, to write poems, to write prose, to lecture on the subject, to write books about your story, to help people who are depressed, counselling wise, to help people who you bump into in life who are depressed, or to become a public speaker who speaks on mental health and helps people in a major way, or consults or heals people with mental health. So when you come to understand that God has a reason for it, that'll help you too. So I hope that this has been helpful. I try not to over record my videos or say too much, and I've covered all my points now. I really love you. I really care for you. I was a bit off my game today. It didn't so much worry me so much that my mother died, because she's with me now, and I'm really happy, and I've been waiting for her to die. So I'm happy, but it really, really, really hurt me that my family didn't invite me to the funeral, and that really, really, really hurts, really deep. And I'm glad my brother said sorry, because he could tell it hurt me. And me and my older brother are close. And when my life starts getting going and John Lennon takes off, I'm always going to invite him down to do marketing and video and work in my teams and production in the future. But that really, really hurt, and that was playing in my mind while I was talking to you. And I don't know if you sensed that there wasn't like a really good connection today, but I sort of, I was really bleeding inside. And so I really love you. You don't have to worry about me. It's 2:20 in the morning. I've got a meeting, like an online church meeting at 10 o'clock that I run. And so I'm staying up to there and doing some editing. And so I hope that you really enjoyed this. Hope that it helped. Hope that you can go back and watch it from time to time when you need to. God bless.